Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to make this stunning glitter cake topper with your Cricut machine. Stay tuned. So on Cricut Design Space, firstly select text and then type in the text that you want. This is for a birthday. It's actually my sister's birthday. So I'm just going to type in happy birthday firstly. Don't worry about the font. We are going to change that shortly. So now it's time to change the font. Just click on font at the top here. Cricut Design Space now has this amazing filter option. I want a cursive font. So from the filter option here, I tick cursive and it will show me all of the cursive fonts on Cricut Design Space. You want to choose one that have a lot of flicks on there, a lot of swirls, just to make your cake topper look that extra bit more elegant and nice. This one has got a few swirls and flicks, but not as many as I need for my cake topper. It's easier if you choose joined up. I'm going with this one here, which is called Autumn in November. It's a lovely font that I got on the font. And you can see it's got many flicks and swirls. I want everything on 2 lines, so I just adjusted it using the tool on the corner of my text box. And now here's the key bit in cake toppers. Everything needs to be connected, so I click ungroup. What ungroup does is it ungroups every single word, so all the words are now separate. But the key thing here is to make sure your words do not move separately. So I'm grouping happy together and I press group. So now happy is all grouped together, it will not move. I'm going to show you what I mean. So if I click on the Y here, you can see if I move my mouse, it will move, it can detach. I'm going to pull it back because I want it to stay with the A. I'm going to select all of birthday and group it all together. Doing this allows me to move the birthday on its own. As you can see, it's all moving and it's separate from the happy. I need to align it so that it's touching the happy. This is key in cake toppers. All your words need to touch and be connected. Now I'm happy with the position. I select all and I click weld. So by selecting all, clicking weld, it will allow everything to be combined together. So you go right at the bottom here, combine, and then the top option is weld. This is a permanent feature and it just joins everything together, so it will all move as one. As you can see, happy birthday is all connected, and I've got my P connected to my T and my H. So it's lovely. The only problem now is my I. If you see, the dot on my I is not connected. So I click a circle and I just make a bigger dot. So a dot for my I that's still small, but slightly bigger so that I can connect it to the stem of my I, just like this. And this ensures that when I cut it with my Cricut, it will be all connected. Select all again and then go to combine and weld to make sure that dot on the I stays in place. Now I want to personalize this by adding a name. I want my name to be in a block font, but I'm just going to write it in now and I'll change my font afterwards. So select text and then type the name in capitals. So here I'm typing Patricia and I go to font. As I mentioned, I wanted a block font, so you can pick a filter that you want here, or if you know the font you want to go for, you can go for it. So I'm going to pick probably a contemporary type font, something quite elegant and simple. So you just scroll down and whichever you feel is quite elegant and simple, but bear in mind, it does have to be quite thick. You don't want a font that is too thin for your cake topper because it won't hold up well. Going to go with this one over here, and then now you can see the letters are not joined together. So at the top here, letter space, I can press down to decrease the letter space, so there is less space in between the letters. You're going to get to a point where you can't decrease it anymore without them overlapping. So ungroup, just like I done before for the cursive font, and then I just click on one of my letters. So I'm going to click on my A to connect it to my T, and I'm using my arrow keys now, my right arrow key, to bring it closer to the T. And I do the same with the P, and I use my arrow key. The reason I use my arrow key instead of just dragging it along is because I want it to stay aligned. I want it to be the top and the bottom all match up. if I use my mouse to move it, it won't be as aligned as I want it to. You can even select a whole bunch of text and then use the arrow keys to move it to where you need it. Just make sure every single letter is connected. This is the key, because if you don't, your cake topper is not going to come out right. I've made this mistake many times. I put my Patricia words exactly where I want it, making sure it's touching the birthday. Select all, go to the combine and weld it all together. Ensure all your words are touching each other. Key, key, key for cake toppers. Now the text is all done, I need to get my circle. So on images, I just type in circle to find my double circle that I use for my cake topper. So in terms of the circle, there are a few options. This one here is quite a good option, but it's quite thin. I want something a bit thicker, so I'm going with this yellow one here. If you want to use this exact same one, I'm going to show you the code. You can just type in this code in the images search bar and it will automatically come up, just in case you can't find it on Cricut Design Space. So I want this image, I'm going to select it and then add it to my canvas. So here we go. This bit is a bit tricky because you've got to size your circle in a way that it is touching all of your letters on the outside. So you can see the bottom of this circle is touching the A in Patricia, and the top is touching the H, and the wispiness of the B is touching it as well. So once I'm happy with where it is, I'll just align it, make it smaller or make it bigger, just to put it into the right place. Once I'm finally happy, I will weld this all together. This cake topper has got many gaps. So to fill in the gaps, you can use the shape stars or hearts to fill in the gaps so your cake topper is very sturdy. I decided to use stars. So with the stars, you connect it to the circle and to your words. This just allows for more, make it a lot more sturdy when you print it out on your card, especially if you haven't got very thick card. The more fillers you add in there, the sturdier it will become. So you can size down your stars or your hearts or whatever shape you want to use to fill in the gaps on your cake topper, making everything connect to the outer circle. So now I'm happy that all my words are connected to the circle. I've got some fillers to add the extra support. I select or go to that combine button right at the bottom and I am going to select weld. This ensures everything is connected together and will cut together. And I check on my layers sidebar tool just to make sure it says weld result, and I know it's all welded. And once I'm finally happy with my design, I can go ahead and make it by clicking in the top right hand corner to make it. I'm going to mirror my design. The only reason I'm going to mirror it is because I'm using glitter cards. If you're not, you do not have to mirror it. Now to find the cut setting for my glitter card, your Cricut will load to get your base material. I'm going to show you how I get the correct cut setting. So browse all materials and then in the search bar, I type in glitter. This will show me all of the glitter options, whether it's card or vinyl. And here you can see glitter card stock. I'm going to add it into my favorites so I don't have to come here every single time. And that is a cut setting that I am going to be using. So I'm going for a gold glitter. This glitter is so beautiful and it doesn't fall out. I'm going to leave it in the description. I put the glitter face down. When cutting glitter cardstock, doing it face down allows for a much neater cut. And I use my brayer tool to make sure it's really adhered to my Cricut cutting mat. As I mentioned, I'm going to leave all of my equipment, everything that I've used in the description. Then I'll just put it into the Cricut and let it do its magic. So once done, you can see it's looking very good. Exactly, but it's mirrored, so it's the opposite because I pull it face down. If you don't pull it face down, you don't have to mirror it. I start by taking off the bigger outer piece and then I work on the middle. It can be quite tricky to take off. If you're really trying to bend it, it's best if you turn your mat down, just as I'm doing, and bend your mat. Try not to bend your card too much because if it bends, it won't look as nice as a cake topper. I go in and I take out all of the pieces, bending my mat. So bend your mat, not your cardstock. This is an amazing hack I learned from TikTok and it works great. So ever so gently, I just remove the cardstock very, very slowly because you do not want to rip anything. This card I'm using, it is not that thick. There is thicker cardstock you can use, but this was good for the project that I was going for. To clear all of this residue off, you can just use one of these scraper tools. It's a Nikapar one that I'm using. It came with my Nikapar tool set, and it just helps to just remove all those little pieces that are kind of hard to pick up if you were to use your fingers. And then I just pull it all into the bin afterwards. I use my fingers to remove some of it, but this tool, it works wonders. I absolutely love it. So here we go. Here's the cake topper. You may have some bits you need to weed out. So I just place my weeding tool and I just press it out with my weeding tool, and it just comes straight out. So much easier than using my fingers. So there we go. There's the final outcome. If you like this, please show me by giving me a like, a subscribe if you want more of this. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to show you how I attached it to the cake. I have these plastic cake topper sticks. You can use wooden ones as well, but I didn't really want it to show too much. And I have glue dots. So just put the glue dots onto the stick and then stick it on. You can use a hot glue gun. You can use foam pad. You can use double-sided tape, whichever works best for you. But this works really well for me. And then you may have to cut them down to size, depending on how high you want it onto your cake. And then you just place it in. Like, it just adds a whole lovely look to the cake. If you did like this video, something you're going to do, let me know in the comments. If there are any other tutorials you want, please let me know in the comments because I love doing these. I'll see you on the next one.